This is episode 193 of the Rise Up Podcast. We're a morning radio show hosted by Steve and Tim on Family Life, a network of stations across New York and Pennsylvania. This podcast is a weekly conversation designed to help you think and laugh and keep your eyes on Jesus. If you haven't already, subscribe today so you don't miss a single episode. And find out more about our show at familylife.org.
It's Steve and Tim, helping you to rise up on Family Life, a friend you can turn to.
I got this discussion just the other day with a guy who's been around a long time. He goes, I've heard of Annie, but I don't really know the story. Even if you've never seen Annie or heard the musical, The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow. You've heard that song. And that's really the message. No matter how it looks today in your life, God has a plan and the sun will come out tomorrow.
I don't actually know this about you, Steve. Are you naturally an optimistic person?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that to be able to say, all right, things are probably going to get better. Was that you before Jesus too?
That's the key question. I'd say no. So I guess, by nature, I can be the other guy and the sarcasm. But no, the more Jesus gets in me, the more the optimism shows. That's a good question. I don't think I was that way before. Yeah.
Yeah. Like of a whole, sun's coming out tomorrow because of Jesus. Then I heard somebody say before, I hope I don't mess it up, but I'll get the part of it across, about some people are short-term pessimists, but long-term optimists. And the thing is, you might be somebody who you're like, I'm probably not going to get the parking spot. This insurance is probably going to cost more than I expect. Whatever. The prices are going to go up. But you're like, okay, those things are all okay, though, because Jesus. And I think that's okay if you're that way as a Christian. You don't have to, as a Christian, be always happy-go-lucky, singing like you're in a musical all the time.
Right.
Maybe it's just the way you see things. You might tend to be a little more, you say realist, but other people say you're kind of a pessimist, though. Okay, but maybe you frame all of those smaller things and saying, they might not go the way I want them to, but I still have joy because my long-term optimism, it's in Jesus, even if none of these other things work out.
You mentioned long-term because that's it. We get so tied down and we have this little vision. We're seeing just a little bit right now. God sees the big picture, so God understands that. So the more we understand that ourselves, I think our scope gets bigger as opposed to just focusing on the little thing. It seems so big at the time because that's all we're focusing on. But on the radio, meteorologist Kevin Williams talks about it all the time. As long as we're talking about the sun will come out tomorrow, he always talks about how everything balances out in the weather. Yes, obviously, no matter where you live, there's going to be storms sometimes. And I'm just talking weather right now. There's storms, but there's something in the whole plan of things that evens things out. And yes, that storm will pass. The sun will come out tomorrow. That's just meteorologically speaking, but it's also life speaking, because again, that bigger picture, we're in the weather storm right now. We don't see what's going to happen behind it. It's going to be great. The sun will come out. In our lives, we focus on that storm that we're going through. We don't say, but no matter how many times God's brought us through it, we tend to, just our human nature tends to go, yeah, but He brought you through this and 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 this. Do you remember when in the meteorological point, remember when the sun came out a couple days later?
And it happened again.
Oh, it happened again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it happened again and it happened again. Oh, in your life, it happened again. Yeah, God's there.
I think about how sometimes the most stressful or scary things, I just imagine it's especially when you're a parent, but maybe otherwise too, they happen at night. Why is it the kids get the temperature, the fever? It's at night. Or somebody, a bump in the night. We talk about that being a spooky thing. Whatever it is, why is it everything seems worse, feels worse at night? And I actually don't know the reason for that. It is interesting to think that things just set us off at night, that in the daytime we might be able to brush off or think, this will probably turn out okay. Nighttime, things are scary and stressful, and sometimes you just think it's never going to end. Maybe you can even remember a time where you just felt like you couldn't sleep. There was something that was weighing you down. It was too heavy, and it just felt like it was going on forever. And it was at night. The crazy thing is, every 24 hours, there's this whole thing that happens where the night happens and then the day happens. The sun goes down and the sun does come up again. I love that God made our world that way. To me, it's a reminder when things are bad. And there's no other way to maybe see it in the moment, except for this is just bad. Lord, this feels bad. I don't even know what's going on. To be able to trust that it does rise. The sun does come up again. It just does. Like when you trust Jesus, you can know why you believe that too.
God's word reminds us of that in Romans 12:12. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. And so hope for that sun to come out isn't just waiting around. It's trusting, praying, and moving forward even when you're in the midst of the dark. Because God is light. And yes, that sun will come out tomorrow.
There's something else too, I think, about stories, how we can look at at life and feel like it's humdrum and the stories feel exciting. I wish it was more like that. I wish it was more adventurous. I think about how the people we look up to in stories maybe are inspired by, like, let's say a little orphan Annie, and her optimism and spunk. We think, yeah, that's great. But then you wonder about the characters in stories. They don't have lives that we would be jumping up and down saying, oh, I want that. Maybe if your experience, you might know what it's like to be without parents. And maybe you know what it's like to struggle through a long, hard night. That doesn't feel like an optimistic, fun time. Like, yeah, sign me up for that. But stories are a great way of reminding ourselves, like, if they can get through it, and if I can be inspired by what this fictional character has done, how much more can the real God work in my real life to bring me through this and to show me that sun coming out tomorrow?
Here we go. It's another new day. You're listening to Rise Up with Steve and Tim on Family Life.
Living the longest and healthiest lives. We always look for those common factors. And this latest one says 4 beverages, people who live to healthier lives, not just long, but longer and healthier lives. 4 beverages in common. You ready?
Okay.
Black tea helps digestion. Green tea boosts focus and heart health.
Whoa.
Black coffee,
hey, there
packed
we go.
with antioxidants, and of course, good old water. Water, it's that's simple stuff, right? But what I find with beverages, and really it's about being intentional. What we drink, but also intentional about what we think, what we're thankful for, being intentional.
Sure.
So fill your cup, so to speak, with the right things, the good, the pure, the life-giving, and celebrate every day like it's another birthday God gave you, because it really is another day that God has given you. If you want some top level and top shelf science, I've also noticed something else.
Oh boy.
People who live the longest, they're also the people who tend to celebrate more birthdays while they're alive.
Wow, so that's all we have to do.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's Steve and Tim, helping you to rise up on Family Life, a friend you can turn to.
I find that, it's not always comfortable, the conversation, when it's about life and death, but it really can open up an opportunity to talk about your hope in Jesus. It just does, and you never know where it's going to happen. For me, it was in a place where I don't have a lot to talk about at an auto shop.
Oh, yeah, me either.
Steve and I are like, something's under the hood. Make wheel go. Also, make wheel stop. That's important. But the mechanic at the shop and I the other day, we got talking about, science fiction. Well, okay, now I'm in my wheelhouse, so to speak. I can talk about stories and fantasy. And then he mentions this one thing about life and death. Stories all have that in common. He said, everybody dies twice. Once when you stop breathing, and after that, the last time someone who remembered you speaks your name. And I thought, whoa, okay, I've got a chance to share about why I've got a hope after death because of Jesus. So I told him, basically, not word for word, but, you're right. I can't do anything in this life that's going to make anybody remember me long after I'm gone. But I do believe that because of what Jesus did, God will remember me long after I'm gone. And that's the only way I'll have a life after this life is over. These conversations, life, death, the big stuff, you never know where they're going to pop up in our lives, maybe even in yours today. But I trust if we're asking him, Lord, give me the words, I want to speak for you, I think he'll make us ready when we start to get that feeling.
Here we go. It's another new day. You're listening to Rise Up with Steve and Tim on Family Life.
It made me smile. I had to smile. I was driving past the playground yesterday. And I saw something that I haven't seen much anymore. A mom not on her phone.
There you go.
Nope. She and her little girl had built, didn't know it was a little girl at first, had built a giant pile of leaves that I saw. It's in a park, so it was very safe. It wasn't like on the road.
No.
The kind of pile of leaves you just have to jump into.
Right.
And there was this, I didn't see her yet, but here was this little girl, all of a sudden, because I see some leaves moving, she pops out, squealing, laughing. You look like a happy Jack in the Box. And see, Mom wasn't scrolling. She was right there, laughing, too. And I thought, you know what? That kid won't remember the leaf pile's perfect shape. She'll remember her mom's face, and she'll remember the laughter, the moment, the togetherness. And we scroll for seconds, but we make memories for a lifetime. Phones can wait. Leaf piles and little hearts can't. So go ahead, build that leaf pile safely. Jump in. You just might find more joy hiding under those leaves than in 1,000 notifications.
May the blessings of the Lord be with you in all that you do today. This is Rise Up on Family Life.